Let's talk about some benefits of using a real estate agent. There's many benefits of using a real estate agent. I'll just focus on three. Number one, you have somebody to guide you through the process, whether you're on the buyer side or the selling side. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of different time frames. There's a lot of important details with contingencies and stuff like that. So working with a real estate professional, they're going to guide you through that process. They're going to let you know what's coming up and what are things that are important to focus on. They're also going to be like a manager. So your real estate agent on the buyer side, let's say you're buying a property, they're going to help work with your lender, with escrow, with the title company, with the inspectors. They're just going to be the go-to person to leading the way until closing, so that you, as buying that property in this situation, can focus on buying the home and getting financing and providing some of the documents to the lender. So they're going to help you, guide you through the process. The second thing that we're really well known for is negotiating on your behalf. Having somebody negotiating and get you the best deal on price, and sometimes negotiation is also on getting your offer accepted. So they're going to be able to do that. And then also work through if there's any repairs or credits after an offer has been accepted. So there's many things. It's about 3 or 4 times throughout a transaction that a real estate agent is going to negotiate on your behalf. And so it's very helpful to have a realtor to negotiate for you. And I would say lastly, and I think the most important, is somebody to look out for your interest. And it's common. And it's also occasionally what happens is a buyer might go directly to the listing agent to write their offer. That happens, and that's completely fine. But the only issue with that is that nobody's looking out for your interest. Usually when that happens, the realtor's more of a third party, and they're not responding. They're not really giving an opinion or giving any advice. They're very hands off in that situation. So having somebody look out for your interest is actually very important, because I had a client buy a property recently. And we were about halfway through the transaction. It was a 30-day escrow. We were about halfway through. We were about to remove contingencies, and I was representing the buyer. And right before we were going to remove our contingencies, I knew that the property was remodeled recently. And so I had quickly asked in writing if everything has been permitted or done by permit with the upgrades. I had suspicion that it wasn't, and on the disclosures that the seller provided, they had communicated that everything was done by permit. But I thought, you know what, we're halfway through, I might be able to use this as negotiation. And so I asked, and it turns out that the seller filled out the seller disclosures a little bit too quickly, and there were multiple things that were done not to permit. Load-bearing walls, whole kitchen remodel, moving the stove, the gas line. I mean, major things that was not done by permit. And do you think that would have been helpful to know the buyer before they end up purchasing the property? And so having somebody looking out for your interest, even though that it might not necessarily be costing you money, but wouldn't you like to know if something wasn't done to permit, or that there wasn't any permits done when some upgrades were to happen? And there's many stories like that have happened in the past. And so having somebody look out for your best interest is the last thing that I think is very helpful and a benefit of using a real estate agent.